Thank you so much for joining us here at Freedom Church Online. God is moving in incredible ways here, and it is because of the generosity of people just like you that we are able to carry out the vision to reach people far from God. So just go to freedomchurch.tv/giving and choose one of the many ways to give here at Freedom Church. Now, let's get ready to hear a life-changing message from God's Word.
We're going to have a little bit of fun. Week 2, friends, flings, relationship things. Let's dive in. On Easter, I showed a picture. I think it was actually the Monday after Easter. I posted this picture. I'll show it to you on the screens, but it was a picture that we had taken right out there in the lobby. And when I posted it, like 15 minutes after I posted it, I got this message from a girl. And she's young. I don't know exactly how old she is. Doesn't really matter. But she sent a message and she said, "Hey, Pastor JR, listen, I want that." And I thought to myself, that's funny because I don't even really know if she understood the magnitude of what it is that she was saying. I want that. Have you ever seen a picture like somebody on Instagram and you look at them and you're like, that picture makes it look like those jokers have their whole life together. It seems like everything is always perfect in their world. I think that's kind of what she was getting at whenever she said, "I want that." And I've talked to people before, and people who maybe they've never been married or something, and they'll make a comment like that, and I'll say, "What is it? If you want that, what is it that you want? Like, what's the that?" And they'll make statements that are hilarious. They'll say stuff like, "Well, I just want somebody that I can go on a long stroll on the beach for mile after mile. We just get lost in the conversation, and the rain's coming down, and we don't even care. The rain. I mean, we are just enjoying our time, and then we kiss right by the waves, right in the rain." Pastor, that's what I want. Or maybe you have children or something, or you're thinking, you don't have children yet, you're thinking about children, and you think one day you're going to be married and you're going to have children, and your children are going to put themselves to bed when they're 6 months old. It's going to be awesome, and they're going to stay in bed once they get there, and everything's going to be great, and you and your future husband or future wife, you're going to dance the night away by the fireplace. And if you don't have a fireplace, you're just going to pull it up. You don't have to have a fireplace now. You can Netflix the fireplace. You can put a fireplace right there on your TV, and you can slow dance the night away. That's kind of what you think. And people say stuff like they did to me whenever I posted that picture. They say stuff like, I want that. Now, it's like when somebody says something to me, I don't have time. I don't have time to get into a full-blown conversation on Facebook or Instagram. I don't remember which one it was on. I don't have time to get into a full-blown conversation, but sometimes I want to have the whole conversation. I want to chase that rabbit trail. You know what I mean? Let's talk about, you want that? Let's talk about that. Now, before we get into the that we have, let me talk about the good that. Right? Because we got some crazy that, and I'm going to talk about it in a minute. But we also got some good that. Devin and I, we've been married now. I'm old. We've been married almost 19 years. I don't feel old at all. We just got married so young. I had just turned 21. She was 19. And we've almost been married for 19 years. And when we talk about the that we do have, we have trust. Like, we trust each other. That's a start. You really can't have anything else if you don't have trust. And so we have that. So if you want that, I got that. That's something that we've gotten much better at over the years. I'm pretty comfortable with the that I got right now. I got that. Another that I have. We have date nights. We have date nights every week, every single week. I mean, almost without exception for 19 years, we've been on a date night. And let me tell you about date night, by the way, those of you that are not married and those of you that are. If you bring the children, that's not a date night. You need to know. You need to know if that kid's there, that ain't date night. That's called family night. Family night and date night are two totally different nights. You need to understand that they are two. They need to remain separate. Date night and family night are different. And we go on date night every week. The reason we do is because I love her and I also love food. And as a result, when we're on date night, we always have food. And so I love her and I love food. And that makes life happy for me. So as a result, we go on date night every week. You're like, I don't have enough money to go on date night every week. We went on date night every week when we had no money. I remember when tacos, you could get 10 tacos at Taco Bell for about 59 cents. And we still would share tacos when we went to Taco Bell on our date night. That's what we did when we first got married. We had so little money. It was like looking back, I'm thinking, how am I alive right now? How did I eat? And it's because we shared one taco. That's kind of how it was. I remember those days. You don't have to have money to go on date night. You have to have some persistence and some creativity. That's what you got to have to go on date night. And you got to have less excuses to go on date night. That's the other thing you got to do. And so we have that. We have fun. We have vision for our relationship. We have purpose. We kind of know why we're on earth. I know why I'm on earth. She knows why she's on earth, and we know why we're on earth together. Our life is very integrated. It's not, we don't believe in balance. This is a different message. I don't believe in balance. I think that when you try to balance two things, you immediately put them both at odds. Therefore, we believe in integration, not balance. And if you try to balance your time with your kids, you actually put your kids' time at odds with each other, and that's a losing battle. You don't need to do that. You don't need to put work at odds with your life. You need to figure out ways to integrate. So we've done that. We've done good. The other thing we have is unity. We got some unity. And that's important too, because that's the whole reason you're supposed to get married, by the way, is to grow in the area of unity. It says this in Genesis chapter 2. It says, then the Lord God said, it is not good, say not good, for the man to be alone. So I'm going to make him a helper who is just right for him. At last, the man exclaimed, this one is bone from my bone and flesh from my flesh. This explains why this could preach right here. I don't have time to preach it. This explains why a man leaves his father and mother and is joined to his wife, and the two are united into one. Some of the best marriage advice you could get, or relationship advice you can get, but especially marriage advice, is when you get married to leave. And leave does not just mean you leave the house. What leave means is every time you get in an argument, you don't call your mom. Leave is if you're the mom, every time you get on the phone with them, you don't pry. Let's talk about it. Because you know why you shouldn't tell your mom every time you get in an argument with your spouse? Because you're going to forget about it in 5 minutes. They're not going to forget about it for 5 years. They're going to remember. They're going to be like, you remember that time you got in that argument? You're like, I don't even remember. Well, I remember. Let me remind you. And then it makes you mad all over again. The reason a lot of relationships don't work is because they keep running back to mom and dad's house all the time. Yeah, amen, one person. Everybody else needs to say amen too. I'm going to start letting everybody know which worship experience was my favorite one of the day, and also which one was my least favorite of the day, based on your responses. So far, y'all not off to a good start. You just got to know. You gotta leave. That's what leave means. Did you know? This has nothing to do with this message, but did you know that the most important relationship once you get married is with your spouse? Not with your mom, not with your dad, not with any other member of your family. Some of y'all act like you know it, but I see what you post online. I see it. So we have some of that good stuff. Now, what else do we have? She was here for the other 3 worship experiences. I might go further than I did earlier today. It'd be funny. She's not at this one. She was at the other 3. Did you know sometimes we have fights? You're the pastor. I think people sometimes picture me and Devin and Lexi, London, and Bryce like sitting in the living room, not even watching TV because you know, I'm the pastor. Y'all probably think I sit around and hold hands with everybody and we just look at Bibles and stuff and just watch movies about Moses or something, you know? Like as if that's how it goes. You see kids fighting and you're like, I bet Pastor JR's kids never fight. I bet they just hug each other all day. If that's what you want, we don't have that. I ain't sitting around holding hands with everybody counting Bibles. I am not going to sit there. If a couple of my kids hugged one of my kids would punch the other 2. If that's what you think, we don't have that. Devin and I, when we fight, let me tell you how it happens when we fight. When we fight, Devin wants to engage. You ever seen a movie that you have to be old enough to remember this? It's got J-Lo in it. It's called Enough. And she basically goes into training to kill her husband. No exaggeration, that is my wife's favorite movie. It makes me terrified to wonder why this is her favorite movie. I'll hear her downstairs in the basement. She'll be working out and stuff. And I just wonder what's going on in her head. I'm going to sleep with one eye open. She's going to try to take me out. So she wants to engage when we get into an argument. She wants to here's the thing. If we're going to fight, she wants to fight. With her, not with anybody else, but with her, when we get into a fight, I want to withdraw. So I don't want to engage because I'm thinking, I can't fight with you. One, you love Jesus more than me. Every time I fight with you, it doesn't work. The second reason is I don't feel like I'm supposed to, so I always want to disengage. So I'll just say something funny to try to make her laugh. And if she laughs one time, I think the argument's over. But she don't want it to be over. She wants to laugh and then engage again. Because she's like, it's not going to go away. The problem is not going to go away if we don't fix the problem. And I'm like, what problem? We already fixed it. Now, with normal people, I want to engage. Give me an umpire right now. I will engage in the problem. But not with her, I don't want to engage. So my lack of engagement makes her want to engage more. And I try to withdraw even more until there's somewhere on my body, there is a button. And when that button gets hit, I'm like, all right, withdrawing from this does not work. Let's go. Does anybody else have that button somewhere on their body? Like, you are patient until you're not. And then when you're not, it's like, uh-oh, here we go. That's kind of how it is. So somebody says, I want that. That's what we got. Another thing we got is sometimes we got miscommunication, which leads to hurt feelings. It's almost always my fault. 2 weeks ago, this happened 2 weeks ago. I'm never saying this again, ever. We were in the kitchen. I'm just trying to love the Lord and find me something to eat. And I look down and I'm like, something's wrong. I look down and said, Devin, why is your ankle so swollen? And she says, it's not. And I said, I was just kidding. So so you know what I did? I disengaged. Oh, somebody's at the door. I'll be right back in 3 hours. One of our biggest fights we ever got in almost 19 years of marriage, is going to sound stupid. One of my biggest fights that I ever got in with her was when I was trying to help her. I was trying to help. I was. I was trying to help her. I was giving her advice on how to load the dishwasher better. And I thought this was like the nicest thing I could do. But she responded the same way every girl in this room just responded. Because I heard one of y'all went, oh no, he didn't. And when people say, I want that, you just got to know, no matter who the person is, there's going to be some of what it is that I just mentioned. She gets mad at me sometimes because she thinks I'm an uptight driver. I'm not an uptight driver. I'm just a driver on a mission. When I get in the car, I got somewhere to go. If I'm coming to see you, everything between me and you is an obstacle in my way sent by Satan to distract me from my ultimate goal. Every person on the road that's in front of me, every single person is a trap from the enemy to see if I'll get sidetracked or if they will impede my progress. If I'm going somewhere I don't know how to get there, I hit the thing on my phone. I go to Waze. I use the Waze app. And when I put Waze on there, and it gives you that time you're supposed to arrive to the minute. I don't know what you see when you see that. I see the time to beat. It's the time to beat. You ever been behind somebody slow and your time to beat goes the wrong direction? That means you got to step on the gas in just a second because you got to make that up or you lost. And I'm going to tell you something else while we're talking about this, and then we're going to get to Jesus. But Jesus knows that this is true. You ever been sitting behind somebody and they're letting a car out in front of them? And that's fine. But then they let a second car out in front of them. Jesus only lets one car out. Satan and the demons let out more than one car. If you let out more than one car in front of you, you are ammunition in the hands of Satan aimed at the heart of God. That's what you're doing. So I do not drive in an uptight way. I just have a mission from the Lord. That's the way that I see it. Now, you're like, Pastor, why are you telling me this? And why did I come to church today? Why are you telling me this? The reason I'm telling you this is because when you say you want that, I want you to know what that is. I want you to know that it's not always what it looks like. Matter of fact, it's never what it looks like. It's never like that. The person who you see, they always have perfect pictures on Instagram. You don't see the hour and a half that it takes for them to get that picture ready to be put on Instagram. You don't see the amount of filters. You don't see all the stuff they had to go through to fix their face. Have you ever seen somebody that you've never seen except for online, and then you see them in person? You're like, dang, how do you take such good pictures? Because you don't look nothing like that in real life. I want you to know that if you have an expectation of perfection, you are going to be set up for disappointment. And it's going to hurt your relationships. The reason that I think it's worth talking about is because I do hope that you want something better. I mean, I want something better. I want my relationship with Devin to be better. It's better now than it's ever been. I can actually say that. I haven't always been able to say that. I say this all the time. Every time we have an anniversary, and it's true, I'm not even trying to be funny. When we get to October and it's time for our anniversary, I will say we have been married for 19 years. It's been 18 of the best years of my life. Because there was a year where it wasn't amazing. And if you've been married for a long time, you probably had a year that wasn't amazing. If you haven't had a year that wasn't amazing, it means you have not yet been married for more than 1 year. And if you think it's always going to be unicorns and snow cones, it is not going to always be that. But I'm glad that you want something different. We just got to know where to start. Where do we start if we want something better? Where do we start if we want our relationships? Not just, by the way, if you're not married, don't think this doesn't apply to you, because this might actually apply to you even more. But why or where is it that you should start if you want something different and you want something better? You need to start with the reality and the understanding that your life is centered around something. Your life, your relationship, your marriage. I'm going to show you this on the screen in a second. But your life, your marriage, your relationship is centered around something. Now, you got to figure out what it's centered around. And the reason you got to figure it out is because whatever your life is centered around, it's going to determine some things about you. So, for example, whatever your life is centered around, it's going to determine your values and your beliefs. Your values and your beliefs are dependent upon whatever your life is centered around. You cannot get around this. There's no way. What you believe and what you value tells me everything about what you've built your life on. Now, the reason it matters is because your values and beliefs, those are the two things that determine your actions and your decisions. So the actions you take and the decisions you make are based on the values and the beliefs that you have. And those values and the beliefs that you have are dependent upon what it is you center your life around. Your actions and decisions, they lead to your influence and your impact. The influence you will have on this earth is dependent upon your actions and your decisions, your values and your beliefs, which is all dependent upon what you center your life around. There's no way around it. You cannot defeat this principle. Whatever you center your life around is going to determine all of those things that I just mentioned to you. Now, for us, you got to figure out what you center this thing on. What's at the center of your life? Nobody can, I could answer it if I hung out with you for a little while. But most likely, you're going to have to be the one that figures this thing out. What are you centering your life on? A lot of people, what they center their life around is their self. Center their life around themselves. Now, let's be honest, we've all done that for at least a little while. Sometimes we flow in and out of that, but there's a lot of people that are out there and their whole life is centered around themselves. It's all based on their wants, their desires. You'll hear them say, whatever's best for me. That starts to become a sign that you're centered around yourself. What happens is, if your life is centered around yourself and you get together with a person whose life is centered around their self, you got two selfish people who care more about themselves than they do the relationship. They'll start getting in fights, and they will get in fights, they will work harder at winning the argument than they will at winning the person. Because you center your life around yourself. Sometimes, you ready for the next one? The next one's way harder. It's going to be so much fun. I really like it. The next one that people center their life around is their kids. Now, those of you that don't have kids yet, you're off the hook for a second. But let me give you a warning. Those of you that do have kids, you might be like, no, this isn't good. I don't know if this is good. Because it sounds like you should be centering your life around your kids sometimes. That actually doesn't sound terrible, but it is very detrimental. I've been wondering, I didn't notice this for a long time. I've really noticed it in the last 4 or 5 years because I've been directly affected with friends and such that have gone through this. People who have been married for 20, 25, 30 years getting divorced. And I'm thinking, my first thought was, if you've been married to somebody for 30 years, what is it that has happened that you cannot figure out? Because 30 years, you've been through some hell together. You know what it is? A lot of times, not every time, but a lot of times. A lot of times your life was centered around your kids. And when your kids exited that house, you didn't have anything in common anymore. And as a result, you found out 30 years later that you actually haven't had a relationship with that person for the past couple decades. Because you centered your life around your kids. I hear people all the time, they'll be like, hey, Pastor, you said you go on vacation with your family, and then you also go on vacation with just Devin. I haven't done that since the kids came around. I'm like, oh, how old are your babies? Oh, they're 12? Can I tell you something? Can I tell you something? Say yes, because I'm going to tell you anyway. If you haven't been on vacation without the kids in 12 years, even more than you needing a break from them, those jokers need a break from you. Yeah, like 4 of you are clapping, the rest of you are like, that is so rude. It's true. It's true. Your kids need to know that your spouse is important and that they can't come between you. You know, them ones that try to trick you, they'll ask the mom something, and if the mom says no, they'll go ask the dad after that. Sometimes you know what you need to do? You know what you need to do whenever your kids are back talking to your mom? You need to say, you might talk to your mom like that, but you ain't about to be talking to my wife like that. You let that little joker know what's up. I'm for real. I've said that to my kids before. You might talk to your mom like that, but you ain't talking to my wife like that. I will destroy you, child. I brought you into this world. I can take you out. Whatever you got to do. Sometimes it's your spouse that's at the center. That don't work either. Because if your spouse is at the center, that means you're putting them in a place that they weren't meant to occupy. They can't stand up under that kind of weight. I'll talk about that in just a second. So the only way for your relationship to win and to thrive and to get better, it's going to sound, I'm going to give you an answer. And it's going to sound so churchy, and I hate churchy answers, but I'm going to define it, and I'm going to put some practical stuff to it, because if you know me, those of you that have been around for a while, you know I hate the little cliches that sound good, but they don't work themselves out practically. I hate that with every fiber of my being because I really honestly think I don't think it helps people. I actually think it hurts people. So I'm going to say something that sounds like I'm doing that, but then I'm going to come in behind it and fix it. Does that make sense? The only way for your relationship to thrive is for you to be Jesus-centered. Your relationship has to be Jesus-centered. It can't be centered around anything else or anyone else. If it is, it will not work. Now, people ask the question, they'll say, well, what is it that Jesus-centered means? That's a good question. It's a good question. I'm going to show you this. Matthew chapter 22, verse 36 says this, teacher, which is the greatest commandment in the law? In other words, here's what he's saying. Hey, if I only have to do one thing, what's the one thing I need to do? Because don't be trying to give me 31 things to do to get better. I read a book one time, it was like 21 ways to be a better leader, and I'm sitting there more discouraged than I am encouraged because I can't even remember 21 things, much less try to apply 21 things. If I see a book, 47 ways to be a great husband, and I pull up the table of contents and I look at it and I'm like, I'm only doing 4 of those. How am I supposed to do the other 43? It's not good. Give me one thing. Give me one thing. One thing I got to do. That's what this guy was asking. And Jesus said, here's the deal. Here's what you got to do. One thing. Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. That's it. That's the one thing. If you're only going to do one thing, if you're only going to have one person at the center, because you can only have one person at the center. You can't have 2 people at the center. You cannot. You can only have one. So if you're going to have one person at the center, which is the amount that you should have at the center, you better put the right person at the center, because if you don't, it's going to affect every other area of your life. Jesus is the only one that can stand up under that pressure. And here's why it matters. Because I hear people say this all the time. Pastor, I think I met the one. I think I met the one. I'm like, the one? Which one? The one what? Tell me about the one. The one what? What do you mean you met the one? Oh, Pastor, they're amazing. They complete me. I'm like, oh, hold up. Can I tell you something? Not everything that sounds good is good. If you've been around for a previous relationship series, I bring this up every time. And the reason I have to bring it up every time is because I think people do not hear what I'm trying to say. I'm going to do it. I'm going to plead with you. People, if you are not in a relationship right now, you're not married, if you're not, and you think you need a person to complete you, please, in the name of all things holy and good, do not, under any circumstances, get into a relationship. Because if you do, and you think that person's going to complete you, you're going to live disappointed, and you're going to jack that person up. You say, no, you don't know. You don't know how wonderful they are. You just don't even know, Pastor. This is the one. Nobody can stand under that kind of weight. You're not looking for a boyfriend. You're looking for a savior. If you're not complete without the other person, you will never be complete with the other person. You need to know this. If you're not complete without them, you will never be complete with them. Nobody can complete you. Devin cannot complete me. She can't. I can't complete her. The good news is I don't even have to try, because she knows that. She don't put that expectation on me. I can't complete you. You can't complete me. If I needed you to complete me, I'm just going to go ahead and quit. Because you're not doing good. You're not doing a good job at completing me. The reason you're not is because you weren't supposed to. You can't, even if you tried. Nobody outside of Jesus is designed to complete you. And by the way, if you're single, did you know that you might have been terrible at math? Somebody needs to tell you this. Did you know that 1 is a whole number? One's a whole number. You are not half a person because there is nobody else with you. One is a whole number. If you're not whole as one, you're just going to be jacked up as two. Last week we talked about the evil, the foolish, and the wise. You about to get a whole lot of foolish if you think that somebody else is going to be able to complete you. So how do you live a Jesus-centered life? How do you put Jesus at the center? Or maybe you're like, I want a Jesus-centered relationship. I want a Jesus-centered marriage down the road. I want a Jesus-centered life down the road. I want all that. You know how to get it down the road? You know how to live a Jesus-centered life then? Live a Jesus-centered life now. Because here's our tendency. We'll be like, oh, down the road, I'm going to blank. Fill in the blank, whatever it is. When I get married, I'm going to go to church. When I have kids, I'm going to go to church. Whenever I get some money, I'm going to learn how to use a budget. I'm going to learn how to save. Whenever I get this, then I'm going to do that. When I get married, I'm going to deal with this porn addiction. I'm going to worry about some of these other things. I'm going to worry about it then. You cannot build... it's impossible. You cannot build a Jesus-centered life tomorrow on a foundation of sin today. So back to the question, what does Jesus-centered even mean? Because it sounds so good. It sounds like, oh, Jesus-centered, praise the Lord. Let's all be Jesus-centered. That's good. Here's what you're wanting to know, though. This is what I'd want to know. What does that even mean? Jesus-centered. I mean, there's a lot of stuff I could tell you, but again, you remember I already told you this. I don't want 27 ways to be a better dad. I don't want 39 ways to be in a better relationship. I don't want 14 ways to be a better parent. I forget that. I can't do that. I do not have my act together enough to be able to accomplish that. I want one thing. Give me one. I could tell you, okay, you want a Jesus-centered life, a Jesus-centered relationship, you should maybe you should read your Bible. I mean, that's a good thing to do. I don't think that's necessarily where you should even start. I don't think that's the most important. I know what it is. You should go to church. I think you should. I think you put yourself in a position where you can hear from God any chance that you get, and as a result, your life will move in the direction God intended. So should you go to church? I think so. But I don't think that's the most important thing. You say, all right, well then what is the most important thing? I'm going to tell you what it is. But when I tell you what it is, it's going to seem so anticlimactic that it's hilarious. Whenever I get ready to tell it to you, I'm going to say it. And when you say it, you're going to get ready to write it down. And then you're not even going to write it down because it seems like you don't even need to write it down because it's going to be so simple. You know the difference between simple and easy? Simple means it's not complicated. Easy means it's not hard. This is so simple, but it might be the most difficult thing that you do. You want to have a Jesus-centered relationship? A Jesus-centered life. Here's the one thing you got to do if you're not already. Oh God, I can't believe I'm getting ready to say it because it seems so simple, it's ridiculous. If you don't already, this is what you need to do every day. Every day. Pray for the person. I told you. As soon as I said it, y'all were like, seriously. Pray for the person. You married? Pray for that person. Not when you think they need it, because them jokers, they need it every day. I need it every day. If you ever want to pray for your pastor, I need it. I need thee every hour is what the song says. I need it all the time. You know what I'm saying? I need prayer when I'm up here, because sometimes I preach mad. That happens. I've preached mad before. I've preached all kind of different ways. So I need prayer. Pray for the person. Amen. If you already do, we're going to baby step this bad boy one more time. And you're not going to pray for the person. This is the part that's going to mess you up because it's hard. I want to ask you to pray with the person every day. Pray with them while they're there, out loud, so they can hear you do it. Pray out loud. In the presence of the person, pray for them if you don't. And if you do, pray with each other. And if you will do that one thing, it'll change everything about your relationships. Now, I get it. The moment I said it, you were like, oh, God. You know why? Because you're like, that's so awkward. Listen to me. You need a pastor to be honest with you. If you think it's going to be awkward, it will be awkward. If you've never done it, it'll be awkward. If you've been married for 15 years and you've never done it, it's going to be, however awkward you think it's going to be, multiply that. It's going to be more awkward because you're going to be like, this is so weird. You're going to be like, what do I say? In your mind, you're like, I can't. Pastor, every time I don't want to say this out loud, but every time I try to pray for anybody, I kind of like start thinking about everything else. I think about dinner. I mean, I'm always thinking about dinner. I fall asleep. I get bored. Pastor, I get bored. When I try to pray for her, I can't do it. What do I even say? I'm going to show you what to say. You're going to pull out your phone and you're going to take a picture of the prayer because I don't want you to have to guess what to say. I'm going to give you the words to pray. Watch this up on the screen. You'll see it. Here's what you're going to pray. Dear God, if it's me, I'm going to say, Dear God, give Devin and I wisdom and clear direction in all that we do today. Help Devin and I show your love to each other and to shine your light into the world. Keep us close to you, keep us away from temptation, and keep us in your will. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. You're going to keep that up on the screen because there's a whole bunch of y'all taking pictures. Y'all are doing what you're supposed to do. That's the one thing. You're like, but that's going to take 12 seconds. That's all it needs. God's not sitting there like, he only prayed for 12 seconds. I am not counting that prayer. If something's super awkward, it helps that it's only 12 seconds. Because when you go to bed at night, it's going to be weird when that's not your routine. You're going to be like, oh, yes, got to go to bed, okay? I mean, I'll be honest, how honest do you want me to be? When I get ready to go to bed, I'm not usually thinking about prayer. I've done a great job at praying for Devin. I have not done a great job of praying with Devin. But you're the pastor. But I'm an honest pastor. You know there's two different kinds. Because some of them ones that tell you they're great at stuff, they're overcompensating for what they're bad at. Because I don't get my fulfillment from you, I don't mind being honest with you. When I get ready to go to bed, I'm usually thinking about going to sleep or thinking about one of the benefits of marriage that happens prior to going to sleep. Not necessarily prayer. You understand? The words that are coming out of my mouth. Don't apologize for that. That's okay. The Lord made it and said it was good. And he was not lying. Now, you're going to pray that prayer. So how am I going to remember that? You don't got to remember it. Just pull your phone out and read it. What if they make fun of me? Because what if they're like, you should have memorized the prayer. You should pray in your own words. Here's what you're going to say to them. You should give me credit for trying. Instead of criticizing me because I'm not doing it the way you want me to do it. 12 seconds. Start there. Here's another thing. If you don't currently pray for your spouse, those of you that are married, don't start with trying to pray with them because you won't do it. You'll stop. Start with praying for them. Let that go a month. Don't miss a day. If you miss one day, don't miss two. After a month, take the next baby step and start praying with them. That way we can make this thing happen. If you're not married, same prayer. Dear God, give my future spouse and I wisdom and clear direction. Because did you know that if you're single, you won't settle for a bunch of scumbags if you're praying for the right one? Just because somebody sent you a message. Just because somebody smiled at you the right way. Just because they have a pulse. Oh, I'll fix them, Pastor. You ain't fixing nobody. That's the foolish and the evil talking inside of you. Pray for them. And if you've already done that, pray with them. There's so much more I wish I could say, but I'm out of time. I'm actually 1 minute. Don't tell nobody. I'm 1 minute and 11 seconds over. It's terrible. But it doesn't matter because there's not another worship experience coming in. But I'm going to pray for you in just a second, and here's what I'm praying. I'm praying that God would help you, because I would say, how many of you think you need God to give you Jesus-centered relationships? I think everybody does. I mean, I do. Because sometimes I venture towards self-centered. Sometimes I venture towards, I don't know, something else centered. I'm just going to pray that God would do his thing. Dear Lord, we love you, and we're grateful for you. And I pray right now for every person that's here today, do something special in our hearts. We do. We want to have Jesus-centered relationships. That's what we want. That's what we desire. That's what we need. That's what we're asking you for. And so, God, I'm asking you right now to just help us as we walk out of here today to do something different. If we want something different, we got to do something different. So I pray that that's exactly what this would be, that this day would be a game-changing day, that we would pray for each other, that we would then pray with each other, and as a result, our relationships would be better than we ever thought possible. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you so much for tuning in. We are grateful to have you as part of our online family right here at Freedom Church. Now, if you are ready to take your next steps, I would love for you to do that. Go to freedomchurch.tv/next steps, and you will find all the information that you need. Also, if you are ready to begin giving right here at Freedom Church, you're ready to be obedient in that area, down in the description below, you can click the giving link, and when you do, it'll give you all the information that you need as well. In addition, while you're doing that, go ahead and click the subscribe button. That way you can stay up to date with everything going on with the Freedom Church YouTube channel. I love you guys. I hope you have an amazing week.